Why hello again, friends. Those of you who regularly view this channel will know I don't have very positive views of the combat system in the Warhammer Total War games. I've already posted a video with several combat tests where I demonstrated that unit quality is by far the most important factor in deciding an engagement, with other elements such as flanking and terrain advantage having a negligible effect on the fight. It's no surprise that such realities have given birth to a meta of spamming single entity monsters that come packed with hit points, and ranged units that can circumvent the significant bonuses the AI gets in melee on higher difficulties. The term for this is doom stacking. But over the past year or so, Juggernaut, whose channel is linked in the description below, has been working on a major mod for Total War Warhammer 2, the Rebirth mod. There's a lot that he's planning to do, and I'm happy to say that as far as the battles are concerned, at least there's been some very good progress. Chain routes are a thing again, as I very quickly found out in my first campaign as Emperor Karl Franz. You can also see here that the lords are no longer single entities, now being accompanied by a bodyguard unit, and they are much easier to route and kill. As for enemy units, Juggernaut has confirmed that all of their combat bonuses, excluding reload rate for missile units, have been removed. Chain routes are therefore viable, and melee units have been restored to their role as a dignified component of any army, with a purpose beyond cheap body blocking. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're gonna disrupt. Move out, man, move out. I'm gonna toggle guard mode on you so that you just pull out. So crossbowmen are no longer interfering, just get a charge off, because why not? Charge bonus is still pretty important in this game, unfortunately. Disrupt units as much as possible. Are they gonna fire? Are they firing? Are they firing? Are they firing? I want to see. I'm gonna give them the attack order just because. Yep. Yeah, they're firing. They're firing. Arcing their shots over? Yep, they are arcing their shots over. How fast is this guy? One of the biggest annoyances with Total War starting with Rome 2 has been the overly complex unit stat sheets. It was not easy to know just how different a unit with 80 melee attack was from one with 75. Thankfully, that has been done away with, and the numbers have been compressed to be more legible, though this still doesn't address the root problem of there being far too many units with similar roles. I know fans of the Warhammer lore won't like this, but I would be perfectly fine seeing the unit roster cut down in size in future mod builds. Oh, and Juggernaut, I must thank you in particular for getting rid of the quote leadership misnomer and replacing it with the more appropriate resolve. For those of you who don't know, I'm referring to morale. Range units have also been changed up significantly. Crossbows fire in a much shallower arc, and only the first rank of a gun unit will fire its weapons. Firearm units now are actually effective at gunning down armored units, though they still are lacking their reload animations. Loose formation has also been added back in, and combined with the removal of AI bonuses, ranged units no longer dominate the field of play. In the base game, height advantage was basically non-existent, as far as melee was concerned. In my battle tests, I found that across two different battles using the same army compositions, again this is in the vanilla game, the only difference being the terrain, a flat map versus a steep slope, my results were within the margin of error. But in my first battle in the Rebirth mod, I could very clearly see something was different. And indeed, units now gain pretty large bonuses to their melee performance when fighting downhill. Units also get pretty hefty melee defense debuffs when hit in the flanks or rear, which contributes to the ease of chain routing I mentioned earlier. So hopefully the days of having an elite unit get surrounded on all sides and still not even go to a shaken or wavering state are behind us. Overall, not only is the combat much more satisfying, with far less pointless micromanagement and APM burden, on the macro scale it means you can make do with cheaper, lower quality units. Which brings us to the campaign, where fewer planned changes have been implemented so far. The good news? Most settlements are now their own province. Most. I asked Juggernaut and he explained that some regions were harder to split off, in some cases potentially causing crashes. Either way, you have more freedom in your expansion options and where you would like to develop your settlements. instead of being railroaded into getting the other 2-3 settlements to complete a province. The bad news is that units still can't be split off from generals, so your ability to expand is still quite limited in that regard. Given how much better the battles are, I really hope the old army general system that was in use prior to Rome 2 can make a return. The campaign still suffers from base game problems elsewhere, notably in building and tech trees. Most buildings and tech options are still nothing more than passive bonuses. On the strategic scale, the game is still very much geared towards accumulating numbers rather than unlocking new formations and drills. I pointed out to Juggernaut another issue I came across quite early in the campaign. The fact that settlement garrisons can reinforce armies in field battles. Since garrison units cost no upkeep, it gives the defender far too much of an advantage in a given fight. I'd really like to see the old system be brought back where the garrison can only take part in battles directly involving the settlement, whether a siege defense or a sally forth. Overall though, the Rebirth mod is showing very good promise and I look forward to revisiting it in future builds. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Oh, and also I think it says so much about the state of the series that features that were standard 20 years ago now have to be celebrated upon their return in the mod. To those who argue that CA with all its resources is too busy focusing on other things that they couldn't possibly just make a decent game, I hope your socks stay wet all day long. Hey there guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, I do let's plays for strategy games like Total War, city builders like City Skylines and Frostpunk, open world games like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and first-person shooters like Battlefield 1 and Metro. You can hop onto Discord and join in on all the fun, and if you want to support the channel further, you can subscribe to my Patreon and gain access to exclusive videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!